Hello, everyone. My name is Sue Elliot, and I'm very pleased to be speaking as a Fellow of the Australian Association of Environmental Education. I'd first like to pay my respects to the Indigenous peoples from where I'm speaking, the Gumbaynggirr, Anawan and Gamilaroi peoples of northern New South Wales, and to pay my respects to their elders past, present and emerging. It's been a significant honour for me to receive the fellowship at the 2023 conference of A²E² held at the University of Wollongong. And I'd like to thank the National Executive and members of A²E² for honouring me with this particular award. The award recognises several decades of work that I've done in the early childhood education for sustainability field, first beginning in the 1980s. And over those decades, I've had many experiences working as a preschool teacher initially, moving into studies in science and then into doctoral studies. And along the way, working as a consultant with places like the Royal Botanic Gardens, Melbourne, Museum Victoria, the Melbourne Aquarium, and with a range of different local governments and organisations involved in early childhood education. So it's been a varied and rich experience over many decades, and A²E² has always been part of those experiences from the very beginning. So my first connection with A²E² was through their conference in Lorne in Victoria in 1986. That was a fairly small conference. It was a residential conference. And the highlight for me was a lecture on deep ecology that got me thinking about, well, there's lots happening in the school sector around environmental education. What can we be doing in the early childhood education sector? I felt at the time that there was much potential to engage young children in environmental education. So that was the very beginning of my journey. A²E² provoked that beginning very much so. The journey then moved on to recognising the need for resources and information to support early childhood educators in developing environmental education initiatives. And to do that, along the way, we established the Early Childhood Environmental Education Network in 1992 in Victoria. That network still is functioning today, a very vibrant group of people that have continued that network, and that network has celebrated 30 years of initiatives in early childhood environmental education. And also networks have been established in other states across Australia. So there are now a total of 6 networks supporting early childhood education for sustainability, and together they form a loose alliance around Australia, which at the moment is quite important in the face of our new principle in the Early Years Learning Framework document, which is the curriculum for early childhood education. The document now has a new sustainability principle, and it's very exciting to be moving forward quite significantly at this time. But let me just revert to the history again with A²E². Although we had those localised state-based networks beginning in the 1990s, around 2003, we felt that we were gathering some momentum and really wanted to be more significant nationally. And I proposed that there be some sort of national group of early childhood environmental education within A²E². And the result of that was the special interest groups that were part of A²E² for quite a number of years, and some of them still continue. So I had significant involvement with A²E² as the convener of the Early Childhood Special Interest Group for over a decade. And I think that was a very important way to raise the profile of early childhood within environmental education. It's something that's been a challenge all the way along, trying to raise the profile of early childhood education within the environmental ed sector, and for environmental educators particularly to see the potential of early childhood education. At the same time, we were trying to promote environmental education in the early childhood sector to raise the profile of the importance of addressing environmental and sustainability issues beginning at birth, not waiting until children get to school. So it's been a dual pathway over many years, and A²E² has been integral to that, giving a place to really raise the profile of early childhood education within the sector. I did have opportunities to be part of the National Executive on 2 occasions over several years, and that's been important in terms of developing professional connections and feeling listened to, I think, by the National Executive as to the role of early childhood education. And I hope that I've been able to contribute significantly in those roles with the National Executive. I think all of these points for me came to a head at the 2023 conference. It was quite exciting to be asked to be part of an education panel that was held at the 2023 conference. And that early childhood education was recognised as one of the key players across the spectrum of education that there is in the field, from higher education to high school to primary school. And there was early childhood as a valid and important contributor to the furthering of education for sustainability in Australia. I'd also mention that I've had some significant opportunities with A²E² to travel overseas to represent A²E², both in the United States and also in Japan. And I'm indebted to the A²E² for those opportunities, which broadened my perspectives and allowed me to build some relationships overseas as well. So I'd like to advise you or inform you that with the new sustainability principle in the early years learning framework at the moment, there are many opportunities for moving forward in early childhood education to significantly build the profile of early childhood education within the education for sustainability sector. And there's a lot of work happening internationally at the moment, as I spoke about at the conference. So thank you again to my A²E² colleagues and many professionals that have been part of my journey and have led to this moment of being offered a fellowship of A²E². There have been lots of exciting times, a few challenging times, but overall it's been an excellent journey with many people to walk this path with. So I'd just like to leave you with a quote that I think is important that I used when I was part of the education panel at the 2023 conference. And I'd just like to state that young children have most to lose. They will experience more climate change events than you could imagine. Let's build the strongest foundation possible in early childhood education. And remember that young children are capable thinkers, problem solvers, and action takers. Thank you again.